Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look, up in the sky, it's a bird brain, it's a plane, it's iWalter. Yes, it's iWalter, strange visitor from another planet who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. iWalter, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend ears with his annoying voice, and who disguised as Walter Interranti, mild-mannered janitor for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, nonsense, and the American way. And now, another exciting episode in the adventures of iWalter.
Hey everyone, this is Walter from iWalter. Yeah, I wasn't going to do a show tonight. Wow, I sound really loud. I can't believe it. I'm not used to that. I'm trying a different setup a little bit. Like, one thing is I have a tripod, like a tripod type thing. No, it's not a tripod. A mounting thing for my mic, and I actually put it closer, or I put it on my desk, which I hate doing because I did that on my earlier podcast, and I made a big dig into the desk itself. Like it actually left a big mark on it. So I had changed that desk since then, and then I just bought a little tabletop I set up. Unfortunately, the tabletop I used was too big. By the way, it's Wednesday, May 23rd, 2018. Yeah, I'm supposed to do something I've been trying for the last 2 weeks, I think, is do a show on Linux. It will not be tonight, but it hopefully will be on Saturday. I'm crossing my fingers, or at least, which means I'll have it up by the weekend, if everything goes according to plan. Anyway, yeah, so wish me luck, because I actually tapped it or connected my mic connector to, the thing I put it on. It's not a tripod, but it's a thing that holds my mic in front of my face, is like on my desk. Now, it's a cheap desk. I got it at IKEA for like $10. So, knock on wood, it's pretty easy to put together. So if it really gets banged up, I can just replace it eventually for $10. So it's a really nice desk, by the way, because I was looking for something that fits the small amount of room I have in my room. So I found this desk, and it was perfect, because basically I made my own desk, my own table, made it into a desk, and it's been working out. Enough of that anyway. I did have a couple stories I did want to kind of cover before the weekend, and they would not fit in with a Linux situation or program. So I have to actually thank my friend Matt for that, because he actually gave me some source information I wanted to use. A couple highlights. I did go see Deadpool 2. It was definitely very interesting. I'd actually like to see it again at some point. I'm actually waiting for my Movie Pass to come through. This thing called Movie Pass, and you pay $10 a month. You get to see as many standard definition movies in the theaters as you want, as long as it's one a day, which is fine. It's like 30 movies a month if you go every day, which nobody's going to do that, because there's a couple films I want to go see, and I just can't afford it, because I really don't have any extra money, coming my way like I used to. So I got to be very careful on that. I did see Hollywood Vampires yesterday, which was really cool with my friend Todd. And it was funny tonight, because I kind of mentioned it's a little bit. My new thing to talk about is a show called Andromeda, and there was a character on there that everybody knew and loved the first season and a half, and the actor had to leave because he was in full garb, full makeup, and it was very difficult for him. Like, he was breaking out, or it was very uncomfortable. But anyway, the character's name was called Rev Ben, something like that. And it was a cool character. He was like an alien that was into religion. So, I mean, the whole show revolves around some type of religious aspect, even though it's Gene Roddenberry. Because two of the actors in there, one, I can't pronounce the poor guy's name. He's from New York. He's actually from one of the main characters. He's an alien on the show. The gentleman is actually from, of all places, there's an actual place called Sleepy Hollow, New York, which he is from, and he's very religious. I heard because my one friend Todd, he worked up in New York at a mall. He worked at a couple places, but I think it was called the Sharper Image because they're no longer around, I don't think. And the one actor, since he lives in New York, he went shopping in the Sharper Image, and my friend was freaking out. I was like, wow, this guy's on TV, like, because this is when it was still on television, which was like 18 years ago at this point, maybe like 15. And he asked, like, he was too nervous to ask for the actor's autograph, because I guess people get weirded out if you ask him. He did not. So he had somebody else get the guy's autograph for him. Again, I can't remember how to pronounce his name, though. Unfortunately, that's not cool. But he's very religious, apparently, because he said, bless you, brother, or something like that. Like, he's very religious. He's very much in religion. And he plays like this character that's really will kill anything. Like the alien character he plays is completely opposite from what the guy apparently is really like. Really tall gentleman, too, because my friend said, yeah, he was intimidated by his height as well. Kevin Sorbo is the other one who's also on my side of the political aspect, but also a very religious man himself. So it doesn't surprise me. But anyway, they brought this one character back, Reb Ben. I think that's how you say it, or Reb Bem. And the actor left just abruptly because he just had so much difficulty with the costume they gave him. It was a full furry costume, and he was playing a preacher or some sort, an alien preacher who like found his way with God. And it was a really cool character. People liked him, but my one friend said I stopped watching when they wrote him off, or not wrote him off. He just had to leave. He couldn't stand the costume they gave him. So they brought him back, and then they metamorphosized him from a full alien to, mostly humanoid. And yet they said that at the very end of the episode, it was just tonight I was watching this one particular episode from season 3, episode 15 for those who are interested. They put a lot less makeup on him. You could see the actual actor. He was still alien-like, but with a lot less makeup. There's another character on the show that I really adore. God, I'm trying to think of her name, the character's name at least. It's Trans Gemini. And her first season, she had a tail, and she was, because my mom caught the show one night because it's on Comet TV, and she says, yeah, there's some TV show on or movie with this purple girl. It was like, yeah, she was from head to toe. She was, well, you've seen a lot of her skin. It was all spray painted purple. And they transformed her where she was wearing a lot less of the paint all over her skin, and they got rid of her tail because obviously both were an issue for that actor or actress. So yeah, but she stayed. She was on for the 5 years that the show actually ran. Anyway, it was really cool to see him again because, he was a loved character on the show if you watched it. I quickly got into it. What am I saying? I'm not going to say I slowly got into it. Very entertaining show. Again, it has a lot of religious overtone, undertone. I don't know how you would put it on most of the episodes, but obviously it's because of you got your two main actors. And actually, Kevin Sorbo picked up after the first season. He actually was exclusive producer. There was other people involved, but he actually had a say, I guess, on a lot of the show. So they definitely reflect some sort of, maybe not directly on every episode, but definitely a subtle feel for religion in it, here and there, just kind of gently put it in, not trying to throw it in your face like sometimes some shows do anymore, not with religion, but with other beliefs. So, and it gets very irritating. They do it subtle enough. It definitely keeps you coming back week to week. Anyway, when I was talking about Deadpool 2, I think I was, but I was talking about, because, yeah, I think I was. Boy, I already forgot what I was talking about. I was curious, like, wow, maybe I should pull this up at the beginning of the show to see if there's anything on how much money it made. Well, it said It made over $300 million worldwide, which is very impressive because the movie's rated R. So, and it is very funny because when I went and had seen the movie, everybody was laughing. Literally everyone was laughing from beginning to end, nonstop, because the credits are like kind of corny and you're supposed to read those. It was kind of funny. A friend had sent me after we were talking about this. The friend I'm going to have on Saturday, hopefully. We were discussing about Deadpool 2, and he sent me a music video because I didn't realize, but they made the beginning of the movie, the title, kind of feel like a James Bond movie, but it was a lot of Deadpool jokes in there, overtone, not undertone. And, Celine Dion actually made the theme song, and it was like, wow, she did an incredible job once again. Like, I don't go out and buy everything from Celine Dion, but she did an incredible job when she did the theme song for Titanic. And once again, she made like an incredible song for Deadpool 2. And I think that just sticks out more than anything else in the film, because the movie is pretty vulgar and very violent because it's meant to be, and it's got a lot of goofy jokes. So Ryan Reynolds actually played it up in the music video with Celine Dion as she made a video, and she was a good sport about it. So it was very funny, and it was actually incredible. She just knows how to really make some incredible songs. So I have to hand it out to both Ryan Reynolds and Celine Dion for that incredible opening theme song, which I think will probably once again, I won't say once again because I think I was going to say Titanic, but Titanic did well with even out the song. The song just added to it. Same thing here with Deadpool 2, but I think it just stood out really well. So I think it will outlast the movie. So I got to give an applause to Celine Dion for doing that. I think she did an incredible job again. So did Ryan Reynolds. Don't get me wrong. I think I made a long discussion last show. So, hey, you know what? For those who are interested, it looks like on June 4th at 10 in the morning, if you go into Apple's website, because that's my homepage, they will have an update on their new products coming out there. It's called the Keynote meeting. They used to have it live. I think now you have to check it out after it's over. But they used to do live events on those update things. So this is coming up. I'm actually very interested because Apple has been promising certain things. I think the big thing for this next keynote, quote unquote, is going to be the iPhone 10s are going to take the place of even the 8 completely because they're going to put out the cheaper versions of the 8s. So that'll be interesting. What I'm actually more interested in, though, more than anything else, which I heard it's been pushed back again, if they do announce it, it will take me by full surprise, is the next Apple desktop, because it's getting to the point that the Apple desktop I have, which works perfectly fine, don't get me wrong, is getting a little bit long tooth. I mean, it's been out since 2013, and they have not changed it in the past, which is a long time for Apple products, because they always announce everything, something new every so many months to so many years, but this is a long haul for them. But yeah, I think it was 2013. That doesn't seem like a long time when I'm saying it now. But it was the trash can Mac Pro desktop. Well, that's getting, in the Apple world, it's getting very long-toothed. And it's been quite overdue at this point that people want something they can upgrade. Now, again, I've said this before. You can upgrade the trash can bin Apple. It's just it's going to take up a little bit more table space. I actually have not taken up much more room. I have 16 terabytes, actually 17 terabytes of hard drive space. And it's 2 external 8 terabyte drives. They do not take up that much room. If I really wanted to, this is where it gets into the nitty gritty. I think what gets people pissed. You can't upgrade the video cards in the system because they are basically just that. They are circuit boards or whatever you want to call it. They're really not graphics card boards. and you can't replace those. You can pull them out, you can put the same thing back in, or you could probably find something secondhand to update the graphics boards that are in there, but it's a real pain in the butt, and it would cost way too much money because there's, you can't upgrade it to the newest and greatest graphics card, which for a lot of things that people like to do, gaming, obviously, VR would be another one, or I'm trying to think what else, because you can dual boot on the Apple Mac. I'm trying to think what they call that. CAD work and things like that, more professional stuff. Yeah, you can't update the carts, grade the carts, so you're kind of stuck, which really pisses off a lot of people. The new system's supposed to be upgradable in that perspective. So that would be really good. So that's why I'm kind of interested. Now, you can get what's called an external, it's called a PCI Express to put video cards in. Those are about a couple $100, which is nice. But then I looked at some of the reviews, and you can hook it up to the Apple laptops. I'm not quite sure about the desktops, but it does work on Apple. It's designed strictly for Apple. It's an external case. But one, that's more of taking up more space. See, you want to keep everything in a nice, tidy spot, and you got it spread out. So that's one difficult thing. And two, it's not 100%, because some guy said he was doing video editing and rendering out other stuff, and he said, yeah, it was some issues because you actually are running it externally and bypassing the graphics cards that are designed in the system. So it kind of defeats the purpose, because you're going to end up paying a lot of money for this external unit, take up a lot more room, and people are not happy. So again, on this keynote coming out on June 4th, will be really interesting, because maybe they will surprise even me, and because I have no clue. I haven't heard anything. As far as I know, it's been pushed back from this year, which was supposed to be around now, till next year, that they're going to actually announce a new Apple desktop. So they might, my jaw will drop if it actually comes out on June 4th, that they say, hey, you know what? This upcoming year, we're going to put out a new desktop. Not that I can afford it, but it would be nice to know. It would be definitely a nice incentive that, hey, I could go back to what I used to have on a desktop, one that I could actually upgrade everything once again. That would be very nice. Again, don't get me wrong, because I've had almost every Mac desktop under the sun, and 99.9% of them, you could not upgrade them at all. The only one you could was the one that looked like a cheese grater. And that was great until I kind of really ruined it. So, yeah, that was my downfall. So anyway, that was my main stuff for tonight. I'm smacking my lips. I apologize. It sounds really nasty. Yeah, I do got a couple stories. I did, like I said, I went and seen, I keep on want to say, don't ask me why, maybe because I used to watch the show and I did go to a convention for Vampire Diaries, which is the incorrect name, but I did go see Hollywood Vampires, which I can't remember anybody except Johnny Depp, which I compulsively had taken. Believe it or not, because you can't. It was at a casino this time that I had seen a concert. It's been a while. Had seen in the past. I had seen Marilyn Manson. I think that's the way you say it, or Marilyn Manson. And you're not allowed to bring cameras in. And Lady Gaga and Tony Bennett, I saw them, and Kevin Smith. You can't bring a camera in. It's because of the gambling issue. You're not allowed to bring cameras in, even into the venue of where you see a concert, which is separate from the casino, because they're afraid you're going to walk in the casino and take pictures of people. You're not even allowed to take pictures on your phone, technically. If they catch you in the casino part, yeah, you can get your phone probably confiscated, taken away. So, yeah, so they're really funny about that. Every casino is that way, by the way. You're not allowed to bring any recording devices and no cameras, definitely. I'm talking like, cameras you take regular pictures with. Video cameras, yeah, that's a no-brainer. So, yeah, the bottom line is it kind of sucks. So this time I beat myself on pictures because I was just like snapping the whole freaking time. And I had taken 700 pictures, and out of the 700 pictures, all of them really were horrible. There wasn't like maybe 2 out of 700 were okay. I ended up putting up to like 200 pictures on Facebook, and trust me, they're not that great. My one friend said, "Well, they look great." It was like, no, they don't look bad at all. They look better than my pictures on my phone. Me and my friend that went, we have iPhones. iPhones are great because I just like the way it's laid out. But as far as taking really good photos, forget it. You're not going to get a great picture on there. I'm sorry. Now, one woman, I don't know how she did it, but I'm actually considering that. She actually put one of those, brought in and got it past security, one of those telephoto lenses that you basically are real small. Well, they're long. They're very long, but she actually had that shoved somewhere on herself and put it on her phone. So obviously she probably got some really good pictures. Now, I wouldn't mind trying something like that because those, telephoto lenses that they say are so great and they sell you on that aspect on the iPhone, the iPad, trust me, they're really crappy. The only way you get really good pictures and video, because my friend proved this, is if you're outside and it's perfect light outside. Then you have no problem. Take pictures inside of the concert, forget it. You're not going to get a good picture. I don't care how great you think your phone is because you got that little small dot that is your lens, and you can't get a good picture with that. I'm sorry. So that part was a little bit depressing. I would have wanted to see it was Johnny Depp that I had taken a lot of pictures of, and all of them turned out like crap. And Alice Cooper, and there's 2 other guys. I should have done this because it's going to make all this banging noise on my if I try to look for it. But yeah, they did a meet and greet, but it was $1,500, and there was some woman in front of me of her boyfriend, whatever, her husband, I guess it was her boyfriend. She had the meet and greet tag on her, like you had to be tagged. And I don't know if he did, but that's $1,500. So both of them got it. Then I was $3,000. And is it worth it? And somebody, like my friend, found a picture on Facebook of a woman who got a picture of Johnny Depp. And it was like, that's what you get for $1,500, unless he just did it out of the kindness of his heart, because it's supposed to be the whole band. It was just her and Johnny Depp. I'm trying to look if I could spell Hollywood Vampires. Maybe I can just spell it wrong and just pray for the best, because I can't remember the other guy's name. So maybe I can look it up and figure it out. Well, it's Alice Cooper, Johnny Depp, and Joe Perry. But there's somebody else. There's actually 2 other guys in the band, which I don't remember. But they're the main, the front people. And a lot of songs are really good. Joe Perry played some stuff from Aerosmith. I think at least 2 or so songs from Aerosmith. And Alice Cooper incorporated that into those songs. So did Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp actually sang, you know what? I can't remember. But he did a really good cover song of Heroes. So I'm going to see if I can find that. Hopefully that's on the new album, because he did a really good cover. Johnny Depp singing. Oh, David Bowie. Thank you. I looked it up. Yeah, he did an excellent cover of David Bowie's Heroes. Johnny Depp is incredible, and if you look at the man, he just looks so freaking serious when he's on stage. Like, he plays a lot of goofy characters. He's, a slapstick kind of humor guy, it seems like. I don't believe probably in his politics, but when he's on stage, that man is like, he's got like the most serious look on his face. It's incredible. And kind of frightening that the man is that serious about what he does, even on a performance, which I guess is very good. So you're getting your money's worth. Alice Cooper is great, but boy, that man looks like he's 70. He just turned 70, and he looks every bit of 70. I mean, I don't mean to bust on him. The friend that I went with, had seen Alice Cooper so many times. Wouldn't even know where to start. So he was like, hey, dude, you got to, he gave me the money and then some, because I guess he was very happy with what came out of the concert. So, but he's definitely aged quite a bit. And yes, he did sing the School's Out, that one famous song from Alice Cooper. He did sing that. But the thing is, I mean, he's definitely got a little bit heavy, so to speak. He's 70 years old. He's definitely showing his age, but I will tell you, he knows how to put on a performance, and it's amazing. I mean, for a 70-year-old man, I think that's what keeps him going, is just doing these performances. And this is something he can be a little bit more relaxed back about. Oh, I don't know if I told you, but I did. The meet and greet was $1,500. Yeah, School's Out. He played that. He played a couple other songs I can't remember. And like I said, they played some Alice Cooper songs. So that was really cool. So not only were, because Hollywood Vampires is a cover band kind of band, but it's got really good, musicians from different bands, which just makes it that much better. I mean, just that combination of different, people from different bands. Well, not Johnny Depp, but there's the drummer and this other bass guitarist. They're from actually other bands. Well, I think the one actually is in Aerosmith or Alice Cooper's band. I can't remember. But, you're getting like the best of a mixture. So they do get a couple original songs, which their original songs are more, they dedicate particular songs to people who have overdosed on, drug overdose and stuff, is what I understand. But yeah, even, what did I say that was again? I got to look that up. Joe Perry looked really good. I mean, you could tell if you look close, he's showing his age, but that man's up there in age too. And he's in really top, top shape. That man is he's really good shape. He's 67 because I just looked it up now. So you couldn't tell by his face. Yeah, you can see in his face, but his physique is like that of a 20-year-old. And I think what keeps him such good shape is the fact that he still performs, and he's an incredible guitarist. Yeah, he was just amazing. They did a thing with him just alone. All of them had a chance to be on the mic doing what they do best. The other two, which I can't remember, or who, I don't really know who they are, the drummer and the other guitarist, but it was definitely worth it. The only thing is my ear was shot. So I did buy, because I have a Depeche Mode concert coming up in a week from now, from this coming Saturday. The next, I have a Depeche Mode concert, and I just can't afford to ruin my ears any more than I've already had done. I'm curious how old Johnny Depp is. He's 54, and he looked really good too. He looks like he's in, he keeps himself looking good. All these guys did, and they did an excellent job. I've seen a lot with Johnny Depp in the tabloids, which I don't even want to think about, but there was a lot of older women there, much older, like my grandmother's age if they were alive, who had Johnny Depp movie T-shirts on from different films. That some reason he definitely draws a crowd of women, and it's not just funny. It's not young women. They're very much up there in age that were just like big Johnny Depp fanatics. It was kind of actually very funny. But yeah, if it wasn't that it was that expensive, I would have done the meet and greet, but not for $1,500. Actually, I was just looking into Britney Spears. She's going to be playing where I just had seen Hollywood Vampires. I don't know if I mentioned this. It was at the Sands Casino up in Bethlehem in Pennsylvania. Well, she's going to be there. They didn't sell all her tickets out, and she does lip sync. She doesn't even try to hide the fact. She's doing different levels of a meet and greet, and she's charging $900 just to do a backstage tour. You don't even get to meet her, because that's actually $1,200 or $1,500 for that. It was like, that's a lot of money. And it's $900 just to, get a lanyard and some type of gift, and basically to walk backstage. Now, if I had more money than I know what to do with, or more money that I could handle, then I would do something like that. But I don't, so I can't do that. I'm sorry. Britney Spears, like she really cares. But you know who actually I would love to meet, but even that would be kind of a waste. It's a lot cheaper though. Is Jared Leto, is it, or Leto? Is it? I don't know how you say his name. The guy, because he's a character actor and he's an entertainer, a musician. I mean, because an entertainer, it could mean anything. And he basically funds his own his band. What is his band? Is it Life on Mars or no? That's not it. I'm sorry. See, I don't even know the name of Jared Leto's band. So it's him and his brother, I understand, are the main people. And let me see if I can look it up. He's doing a meet and greet outside, across the bridge from Philly at the place I usually go. And he's only charging like $250. That's for the ticket and everything. That's a ticket, a good seat. You get to meet him and the band members, and, you get to hang out. And it's like $250 because the man doesn't really need money. He doesn't really care about the money. So, I mean, yeah, most people say that's a lot of money. So, yeah, but compared to everybody else that has established themselves, he's really not asking a whole heck of a lot of money. But the problem is, I don't know any of the music from his band because I don't listen to his band. Now, he's much younger. Jared's only like 46. But he's very, he likes to intermingle with his fans, because I see him constantly on Twitter doing these live chats with people. Like, you can go on almost on any time and BS with Jared. 30 seconds from to Mars. Now, I've heard of the band. I know they made a lot of good songs, but I honestly can't tell you one off the top of my head. But yeah, Jared, again, I've been on Twitter quite a few times because I signed up after I saw Justice League because he played the Joker. And I understand, yeah, he's a character actor. Like, he really goes out of his way to get into the character he's playing. Like, he becomes a different person when he does these characters. And he really transforms himself. Like, he's actually had some health issues, I understand, with one of the characters, maybe probably all of them that he's played, because he takes it very seriously, his job of acting. So I would love to meet him, but then, it would be kind of a waste of money because I don't know him for say otherwise. I didn't realize this, but they said he actually played. Now, my friend Matt would know this. It said he played in My So-Called Life. I didn't know that. And I actually bought the series. I never really watched it. I started to because of the one actress, the main actress she plays in that Homeland TV series, which I stopped watching after a while. I'm sorry, because there's just so much on TV. And, I just kind of binge watch a different show. And when I'm done, I'll just go to the next binge watch and of another show. So, but that would be one thing I'd actually like to, one person I'd like to meet. And I said that before. It's like, wow, I'd love to meet Jared. I'm not going to screw up his last name. I'd love to meet the man, just say, hey, it's great to meet you. I loved you in Suicide Squad. I think your Joker was quite different, but you did a really good job with it. And it definitely did give a different perspective on that character. It's been around for like forever. So, yeah, I would love to see him, but it'd be a real waste of money because I'd pay all that money to see him and I'd be sitting there for 2 hours and really not having a clue. Well, I've done that before. I've gone to concerts with no idea what kind of music the entertainer sings. I've done that more than once, and I've really enjoyed it. But this is one time I'm almost like kind of leery. Maybe it's because of the money situation, too. It's a little more tight than it usually is. So that could be it also. Anyway, it was funny speaking about Jared Leto and the DC universe, whatever. I'm not going to say so to speak because my friend Matt will laugh. I'm sure he's laughing right now when he hears this. It's been a long time since I've been out in California, and especially at Warner Brothers Studio. So they set up a new tour for Justice League, and it says Justice League joins WB Studios tours. And that I would love to do. So anything they used in the Justice League movie, they have now a special tour at Warner Brothers Studio. And that was great. When I went out there years ago, which honestly, I think it's been about 10 years, at least 10 years, maybe longer now, since I went out to the West Coast, to Los Angeles. And I loved it. I really did. And you know what? the highlight of out of everything I did, believe it or not, the thing I enjoyed the most was Warner Brothers Studios tour, and I would love to do that for the Justice League because I grew up with a lot of DC comics. I've said that in the past, so to me that would be a real treat. And yeah, I mean, if I could get out there, I would probably I would love to do that. And you know what? The cost is not that bad. I think I saw it like you can I'm going to buy a ticket and never go out there. It'd be a real waste of money. But the price is like $45, I think. For the day. Yeah. Oh, okay. It's $50. $50 for so-called. No, I don't know if that's for the one for, because they have different tours. Because it's Warner Brothers. Okay, buy tickets. Let's see what they are because I'm kind of curious. Studio Classic Tours, Deluxe Tour, Spanish Tour, and gift certificates. Studio Classic Tours, because they have one just for the Warner Brothers one. But again, it was fun. I had an incredible time. I guess it's included in if you get the deluxe package, but none of them are that expensive. I mean, you can get different types of studio tours. And I tell you, if you're out in the West Coast, I would recommend that. I would definitely recommend that. So, yeah, the Justice League is just another added attraction if you go to the Warner Brothers studio. And they do shoot there still. That's the thing that's really nice, because it is Hollywood. So what they do is it depends what time of year you go. Because sometimes what I understood when I went out to Los Angeles, they weren't shooting any television programs or any movies at that point. But if they are, you can actually sit in on a live shoot. So that's really cool, especially for TV shows. I'm not sure which ones they shoot though, but it's awesome. You know what it is? Because I'm signed up for that Warner Brothers thing for movies and stuff. So they sent me something on, hey, if you're ever out in Hollywood, or Los Angeles, we added a new attraction. We added Justice League to the tour thing, so events. So that's really cool. That's awesome. Anyway, I'm just going to move on, but it was kind of funny. I had to send this to my friend Todd because he's a big Gene Simmons fan. He's a big Kiss fan. But there's been really, I got to, stop looking. Unfortunately, I'm forced to, believe it or not, is look at the AOL webpage because I have Verizon email. I have Verizon email account. I've had it for a long time. At least 10 years, probably more like 20 years. I don't know. And I don't want to lose it because I have a lot invested in that email account. So Verizon got rid of, their service of having email accounts. And they said, well, if you want to keep your .net email account with Verizon in the name, you're going to need to go to AOL. It was like, okay. And I hesitated for a long time. And I finally broke down because they said, if you don't do it soon, you're going to lose your email account name, your domain, domain name, whatever you want to call it. So I finally got to the point that I did it, but having AOL, you get all this stupid gossip that it's basically just that. I mean, it's like going to the National Enquirer to get your mail, and it's horrible. So, I got some new emails. I should check them out. So anyway, they had one on Gene Simmons, which was kind of funny, but some of these I think I have one or two in my mix are just, you got to look at them and laugh at, you really believe this BS? Anyway, Gene Simmons says he was a jackass, quote unquote, for 40 years, for years, I apologize. Wife Shannon forgave his, what do you call that? Basically he was cheating on his wife. And it's like, dude, you're a big rock star. You've been one since the 70s. And what do you expect? I mean, Kiss has been around forever, so yeah. So his wife forgave him for being unfaithful, I guess. So to whatever. So yeah, there's a story on that from AOL. It's funny, well, what do you expect Gene Simmons to do? And it kind of a little bit of a surprise because it seems like when we joke about Gene Simmons, my friend who's into Kiss. He says, Gene Simmons is just very much about money, Anywhere he can make money, he will make money. He has marketed Kiss in every kind of alternative way just to make more money. It's like, dude, you probably have more money than you know what to do with it. More money than you can even handle. It's more than like 100 lifetimes, probably the amount you have. So, but the bottom line is, it kind of does not surprise me if the man would be unfaithful to his wife. It would not surprise me whatsoever. But in some ways, it kind of does, going back to that, just because the man just seems like he's more interested in money than romance. It just seems that way. So, anyway, I'm not going to read these stories. I'm just going to kind of highlight them, because you know what happens when I try to read a story. It just turns out to be total crap. And it's more of a comedy then, which I'm sure people like, but it can also be very irritating because I listen back to my show, so I don't like to hear my voice when I mess up. Anyway, I'm going to move along, and there was a story. It caught my attention because I have these things on Facebook, for interest in news stories, even though some of them are probably just pure gossip. But it was one titled from CBS in Pittsburgh: "Scientists bring a severed brain back to life, sparking a new ethics debate." And it was of a pig. So they kept it alive, I think, for 30-some minutes after they had removed the brain from a pig. Like, it was obviously it was dead, but they kept it alive. And it is a bit morbid, because the first thing that came to my mind when I saw that caption was, I'm thinking of like zombies are really, because what is a zombie? It's like a brain dead human that is, revitalized or something. Like their brain is still not fully functional, but it's moving the body that's pretty much deceased. So when I saw this thing, that's the first thing that came to my mind. This is in New Haven, Connecticut. They resuscitated a pig's brain severed from its body. Well, yeah, if it's severed, I think that's the only way you can get the brain out is by severing its head. So somewhere in the story, it did say how long it was. It wasn't that long, but it was long enough to make it kind of interesting, but also kind of very morbid. So I'm not going to read it again. Like I said, I'm not going to destroy it. It doesn't really say much. So another the stories are just going to trickle down from there. I'm just going to give you a heads up right now. So you probably, if you don't want to hear my nonsense stories, you probably want to kind of tune out right now, I guess. I don't know. But one story I saw that was funny, very funny, because I'm going to hold off on this one. I'm not going to even announce it yet. But I got like 4 other stories, whatever. But one was in the Telegraph. This is not the one I wanted to mention, but this is a problem around the world. It's titled "British Police Force Say It May Allow Female Officers to Wear Their burqas as a part of their uniform." See, this is the problem around the world, period, where you just cave into people's religious beliefs. Well, it's like, okay, we can't stop you from your religious belief, but there's certain rules and regulations you got to follow at a job. And if your belief is not for, say, what everybody else believes in, then we don't have to accept that. We just don't have to hire you. But a lot of places, especially England, I forget where I heard that now, which is a real major disappointment, has almost become less of a democracy and more of a socialist, a socialist state, so to speak. Okay, I used that word, so to speak. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to say. So Matt's going to laugh about that. But it's no longer really a true democracy, and that's a shame because it's a lot of rich culture in England that it's just getting flushed down the sewer because of people just caving into this nonsense. So there was that one. I should have actually saved that one too. The one from my friend Matt is about this guy. His title on YouTube is LFA, and it's Average Men Rare Gym. The man basically does what I love to do. He complains about women. I'm just going to cut to the chase. So I'm not sure what I'm going to mention about that yet. The funny thing is, this woman, they actually made this into a story from World News Daily. California woman sues her parents because she's ugly. This is Hollywood, California. A California woman is suing her own parents for $2 million because she blames her parents for her ugly genes, her genetic pool. I mean, you read this stuff and you can't help. You cannot help but just laugh at it. It's just way too funny. And I'm sorry to make humor out of stuff like that, but it just, why am I bringing that up, by the way? Well, very simply because that is like the new thing that had happened since Trump has gotten to office. Like, they find every lame excuse that since Trump's been in office, things are much worse for everyone else. That is, quote unquote, a victimized minority. So yes, I am back on that boat. So like I did forewarn people, and I'm just letting you know, but it's the truth. That's the problem, though. That is the absolute truth. So, yeah, that's why I mention it. Well, how do you know that? Well, you see these stories, and they kind of like prove me right more so than prove me wrong. So anyway, well, the guy actually that he was sticking up, he's like a good-looking guy. I'm not even, guys will admit sometimes, but I'm going to admit this guy is a really good-looking guy. He was saying, I'm going to paraphrase because I was going to actually put the sound clip in. It's like, it's not kind of worth it because it's like 12 minutes long, so that's a little bit too lengthy. Yeah, it's a little over 11, so it's still too long. But he basically says that, I'm only a 7. It's like, dude, you're like beyond a 10. I'm just telling you. And he was saying, like, how he's even dumbfounded, like, people that are beneath what he thinks he's a 7, people that are beneath him, like he was talking about some woman he's only in his 20s, that are in their 30s, have a bunch of kids, no husband, are still picking and choosing on who they want. And they want somebody who, even when they are like not desirable because they're not that young anymore, because this guy was saying, well, she's not that young, she's okay looking, she's not great looking, and she's got a bunch of kids. He says, I don't want basically, I'll put it in my words. He didn't want an instant family. He wants somebody who was no strings attached, and somebody who would be a lot more attractive. But even he said he's trying to kind of downplaying on who he would ask out, and even that doesn't work. Doesn't fail. Yeah, well, it doesn't fail. That would be great. It does fail because you can't even go after anyone because they want like the top notch, way above what they should be able to get. And he even says this in a different way. And it's like, yeah, I've been complaining about this for years, so it's kind of refreshing to hear it from somebody else. It really was. And then I looked underneath what people wrote. There was one guy who was a little bit too, I don't know else to put it, but I'll put it in kind words. He was too ghetto-like, and he had to make some sarcastic remark. But the rest of them, these guys, that couple that I looked at, underneath, responding back to this guy, that LFA, I'll just say that because I assume that's what he abbreviates, I don't know what it's for. That they agree with him. It's like, yeah, because one guy said, yeah, I was in Walmart or something like that. I was in Walmart, I know tonight. And, you try to be really friendly not even asking them out, just trying to be making small talk, being friendly to a woman, and they just look at you like, why are you looking at me? You're a piece of scum. And it's like, have you looked in the mirror lately? So, again, I'm paraphrasing this whole damn thing, but it was like, my friend Matt probably sent it for different intentions, I guess, but I don't know. I'm sorry to say that, Matt. But there is absolute truth in what these guys are saying, and I've seen it for quite a while. Now, Matt, you're going to say, well, just, what am I going to do about it? Well, it's very irritating because, like this guy says, he tries to keep himself in good shape, keeps himself well established, has, good position, a good job, and you're beyond fighting for like table scraps with women. Like you can't even get, what do you call it? Like halfway good looking, halfway witted women, smart witted women. You can't get anything because even like the lowest common denominator, as I would put it, are not interested because they want all or nothing. Like they don't realize that their views are distorted. It's these women nowadays. A lot of women are like that. They have very distorted views on what they think they're capable of getting, and maybe they can, but it's very doubtful unless the guy is extremely desperate. And there's plenty of men out there that are desperate because I think a man's drive for having a mate is much more intense than it is for a woman. So that's in their favor. Okay, so let's see what else I have. Okay, and going a little further, like which I've done, I think the last 3 episodes on how this whole game plan and victimizing certain groups of people or different backgrounds, different sexes, different sexual preferences has become just out of hand since Hillary's been a sore loser on not winning the election. It's just gone. It's gotten really blown out of proportion. I'm trying to think of the right words, and I'm not doing a very good job. So now there is this thing that I saw, and I sent to a friend. I didn't get a response back. I don't expect to. But again, it was on AOL, and I try to keep from laughing because it's so ridiculous. Swedish girls fear enforced marriage, told to hide spoon in their underwear. So when they get not only forced into these marriages, but kidnapped to be married at 12 and 11 years old, that if they put a silver spoon down their crotch area, when they're getting taken like to an airport to be kidnapped, it will set off the metal detector and they can say, hey, listen, I'm being forced upon my will or, not upon my will in this forced arranged marriage, and they can stop this from happening. So it was like, okay, well, this stuff's been going on for years, especially in India, and I forget where they mentioned, because they did mention certain countries that this is like the norm to marry, like, especially, I hate to say it, but countries that believe in the Muslim belief that it's all right to marry like an 11-year-old or a 12-year-old if you're 30 or 40 or 50 or 60 or 70 years old. That's normal. Again, I'm not going to read this. You can find it. It was on AOL, and just look for Swedish girls fear enforced marriages. And the spoon thing will definitely stick out as well. Otherwise, just go to Walter's Facebook page. So it was entertaining enough until it got down to, well, it's bad enough that it's happening, over in these other countries, but don't be surprised, but quote unquote, it's happening in the U.S. too. And it was like, no, it's not. And if it is, it's because you got these people who are fanatics who want to believe they are, these people who are these wannabe Muslims who follow the same beliefs as, this, what do you call it? This, I can't remember what they call that. The Quran, that it's okay to marry a preteen. It's completely okay. So now they're trying to push it. Oh, well, this happens in the U.S. And where does this come up? It comes up not too long after Trump gets elected once again. It doesn't say about Trump, but I'm putting that in there. Yeah, they're here somewhere in here. I'm trying to look. But they're saying in the U.S., and it's like, you know what? This would never happen in the U.S. I'm sorry. But they're saying about, they're making mountains that literally out of molehills. They are really grasping at straws on the victim card. And now it's just gone to the point that it's kind of funny, but it really is not. It is actually grotesque. It's sickening that, you're just not going to give up on this whole, oh my God, we're victims because of Trump now in office. Now everybody's got to watch. I mean, I had a coworker who told me that she was afraid that her and her granddaughter were going to get their vagina touched by Trump. And it's like, Trump's never going to even see you. I won't even see Trump. But she had this misconception, this belief that somehow that Trump and people who are Trump supporters are all of a sudden going to come out of the woodwork grabbing her and her granddaughter's vagina. And I'm not even joking about that. And she was really serious about it. She was angry. So you want to have a criminal take office who has had people, I don't want to say the word execute it, but I can't think of any other word, but like eliminate it because they just don't follow her beliefs, Hillary, and has stolen tons of money and started these bogus charities just to reap on the rewards for her and her daughter. They have had no intention of actually, putting these so-called charity, the money they raise in these charities, they had no intention to give it to or put it where it was supposed to go. It went right back into the Clinton Foundation or something like that. So, that being said, what was I going to say? You want that, and I hate to say it, but Trump, he said he gave a good spiel, which obviously worked. But I think the reason people liked him, not because, I'm going to grab some woman's vagina. No, it was more that the man was upfront and honest about what he thought. And, people respect it that finally we got somebody who is speaking not in double speak or making up these bogus stories where I promise you that everything's going to be so much better with me. No, he gave you the truth. And he was basically saying stuff that everybody else wanted to hear, and not only wanted to hear, because that's not even a good term, but wanted to see happen. And a lot of the stuff, now, give or take, because I guess, Matt, you're going to say, well, there's a lot of things he did not deliver on yet. And I hate to say it, he's done more on his promises than any other president-elect person, I don't care, from either side of the aisle way, or whatever you want to call it. So he's definitely done more in this short period of time he's been in office than anyone else. That's just a fact. Because I hear that all the time when I haven't listened the last couple of weeks to Rush or anybody else that closely, but I do hear that when I do listen to them, and I believe that. I do. I truly do. I might only have one story left. Oh, this was actually interesting too. Going back to that whole thing, and I got to give this guy a high five and kudos. I don't know where this was at because but there's this black gentleman. He's sticking up because he thinks it's nonsense too. Where these people in our country who try to follow this whole, I believe in what do you call it? The Quran and the beliefs on religion, on being a Muslim and stuff, that it's okay to sleep with underage children. So this guy goes up to one of these people, like soliciting that, they're saying, it's okay to sleep with minors, having sex with them. And this guy like rips into him, this black guy. And I really would love them to say, dude, just keep it going. He's really ripping into him. And they're coming back, these people, because I'm looking at it. It's a video, so I there's nothing to really read, so I can't really do any better than I'm doing now. He's like ripping him back into him, and they're trying to quote not even the Quran, but like the Bible. Well, it's okay. It says in the Bible it's okay to sleep with children. And this guy's like saying, no, it's not. Where do you get this from? So the little bit that's written underneath, it says, God said we can. Now, God said we can. This is what it's saying. Can have sex with minors, and women cannot teach. And women cannot teach. Brother Polite versus Hebrew Israelites. So I thought it was like more so these, not even, I thought it says it's Israelites, but these are the same thing in my opinion because I'm looking at the way they're dressed up. And it's just an excuse to be a pedophiliac. I'm sorry. That's all they're doing. They're trying to find a way to do something that's like very inappropriate and illegal to begin with. And they're trying to justify their actions. And it's not a very good way to do it. So anyway, yeah, that was like my main last story, which is perfect because it was actually over an hour. I can't believe I did that again. But one last story, it's kind of stupid looking, but somebody made some sneakers. I think you can actually buy these. And they call them self-lacing sneakers, but they have hydraulics in there. And it's not like the Back to the Future sneakers. They have like a lift on the tongue that allows you to put your foot in there. It looks really stupid. But yeah, I guess people still are influenced in some way with Back to the Future movie, Back to the Future 2. So that was pretty funny. I have it on my Facebook. It's the link was In the No Invention is the name of the link, In the No Invention. So that was kind of weird, kind of cool. Oh, I forgot one actually. I never watched it. I think I might have known people who did. I think they're going to make a reboot or a film out of Magnum P.I. I think it's going to be a film, and it's the directors who did the Fast and Furious movies. So that'll be kind of interesting. It looked kind of cool. And if you do go to my Facebook page, if you can get to Facebook, you will see also all the pictures I had taken from the concert. Even though they look like total crap, you can kind of get an idea. They look like murky crap, look dog duty. So, yeah. So I'm going to make sure, because sometimes I close down and my say I'm going to end the show, I should say. And I was like, wait, you know what? I actually did forget a story. I've done that so many freaking times. So, oh, and by the way, also on a less important topic, I'll tell you, there's some really cool stuff on my VR system I've had. Believe it or not, I've only had it for less than 15 days. It seems like I've had it a lot longer because I've put so much use into it. The Oculus Go. Now, the bad thing is the battery life is really horrible. I'm always concerned about wearing it for too long, which I sometimes do. I've read an article now that said it's okay to have it plugged in, just depending on what you're doing, and to charge it as you're wearing it. So I've done that now too. And the one thing I've noticed, though, is I did have an issue where it got way too hot. The unit got like literally too hot. And it came up. Thank God it does do that. That's a good thing. That if you do have it plugged in and you're wearing it and it overheats, it will let you know. And it just basically told me, like, okay, yeah, this thing is overheating. You may want to shut it down for a few minutes or whatever and let it cool off, because right now we would advise you to let it kind of take it off your head, let it cool off. So that was something I'm glad they did incorporate. I think it's probably more so on the chipset they use, which is called a Snapdragon. It's a processor they put into the cell phones. So that was kind of like nice to know that, okay, they are kind of looking out for that, the individual, me, on doing that. But there's some like really good educational stuff on there. There's some good things that make me jump too, by the way. Some horror 360 horror stuff that really, a couple of them did make me kind of jump out of my boots. But Yeah, there's some educational. There's one, since I'm watching Andromeda, that talks about the event horizon and that is. The event horizon is if you would get how close you can get to a black star, a black hole. And it goes in and it describes how time theoretically slows down on the event horizon. And it had a calculator on one of the VR things, on the education things. And it actually said from PBS. So I was like, wow, this is going to be like the new thing of how they educate people. And it was kind of funny because one of the VRs I watch is on NASA, because I think Trump might have restarted that up. But they had one on NASA. It was really cool. And they were training new astronauts. And they were saying like some really cool they were giving you cool information. But one of the astronauts was this woman, African-American woman, and she was getting trained, different ways. But one of the ways they were training her to get prepared for like long trips, because they intend eventually that we will travel like to Mars. Jupiter you can never do because basically the gases that planet is surrounded by would just be deadly for anyone. It'd be physically impossible. But Mars is the closest, they say, to Earth with the water, and the air is much thinner. There is some type of, not like pure air like oxygen, but it's the closest you will get to Earth, minus that the temperatures are extremely frigid. So they're trying to prepare, and they said by the next 10 years we will probably be at least not on the surface, but that will be like when we did the lunar landing. It's going to be the next step. And that will take, like, I think almost close to a year to get there. It's a long travel, but it's kind of like interesting when they talk about it. But yeah, the woman getting trained, by the way, she had a VR set on, very equivalent, high-end one, much more sophisticated than what I have. But either way, it was a VR system that she's getting trained on. I was like, wow, this is very impressive. So VR is going to be the future, and it's come a lot further from the Lawnmower. What is it, Lawnmower Man, which was a Stephen King book made into a film that was horrible. But that's actually becoming reality now, VR. It's going to be the wave of the future. It literally, Walter, you use literally too much now. I know, Matt. But it is going to be the way. It's going to be the new future is VR. And it's getting it's getting better every day. And you can learn a lot. Like I said, they had the PBS stuff, which I was watching. The games are very fun too. I do play the games, but I actually am more interested. I was always interested in, what is that? Is it astrology? I get confused with astrology and astronomy. Astronomy? Well, studying the stars. So there is some really good stuff, information on there. And it's virtual, so it's even better yet. And it's very entertaining and very informative. It's very educational as well. So, I can't say enough. I love it. I love it for the educational stuff. I eat that up. Not literal. Well, I don't. You know what I mean? Because I'm just going to use the word literally again. Anyway, I'm past an hour. Again, I'm impressed that I actually made it past an hour, because I'm going to be doing another show, hopefully on this coming Saturday, which is Memorial Day weekend too. So, there's some really nifty things you can do with the VR, and I can't say enough good about it, but it is very addictive. Once you start with the VR and see what's out there, it's just like you're surrounded, and it makes you feel completely really small. Like you just don't realize, because you can see interstellar pictures or 360 views of our solar system, our planet, and that there is other worlds out there. There was actually one I just watched that was on Pluto. And how Pluto actually has, because for the longest time, I think that happened in Obama's administration, where they just basically said, well, Pluto's not a planet, it's something else, it's a satellite or something like that. It's not even a real planet. Now, this one VR thing I watched was kind of begging to differ that fact, and that Pluto actually does have ice, which means it has underneath the planet of the ice, there was lakes and rivers or water flow, whatever you want to call it, and mountains. But it's mostly, since Pluto's the furthest, give or take, if you want to call it a planet, is basically encrusted with a lot of ice. But that means that it does have some type of water at one time that, flowed the planet, just like Mars is the same way. So, but the one even on Mars, by the way, they were saying that eventually in our future, if something happens to our world, that we will have to explore other sources, other planets. And it's not just something you hear on Star Trek or see in the Star Wars movies or Battlestar or any of these other TV shows, but it's, this fiction is going to become factual. And they're just trying to look for the future when our solar system is no longer readily available for us to live on. So, going to Mars is not going to really help that much if our solar system's gone, but it's going to be a stepping stone. So, again, you can learn. There is so much I've learned so far. Now, I haven't absorbed it all, but there's a lot I've learned on that VR system. So it's not all fun and games. There's other things you can see. So anyway, I'm going to call this a night because it is going on pretty long, and I'm going to shut this down. So folks, thank you for listening in if you do, and I hope you enjoyed it, because I try to keep it clean tonight too for once, which I normally don't. And the one on Saturday should be pretty fairly clean too. So my friend Rich does not. I don't know what way we're going to go until we actually would do the show if it happens. I hope it does. So thanks a lot. Have a good night, folks. This is Walter from iWalter, and I'm signing off for now.